Welcome everyone. I'm not a fan of this Alpine counterpane, but I hate all this shit. It's just so humdrum. I often give a bit of a concession with E3. This is perhaps one of my weaknesses as a opening player. Conceding that isolated queen spawn early on, essentially. Or not. No, I think we definitely take it and win his pawn instead. Uh, Poorly played, my friend. Poorly played. Always give your opponent the isolated queen's pawn is usually a pretty good idea. Um, Now we only got to worry about this thing, but I think it's not a big deal. Should be easily managed with several possible moves. Now we're only +1 up. It's only a pawn, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. But it's a central pawn, and I'm afraid to say that that is pretty serious. Oh, well, I think we're gonna simplify the game here a bit. Simplify the game a bit. Oh, he's got a check. Oh, well. Well, let's see. That he may have just fallen into a little bit of a trap here by trying to hold on to too much. He should have probably just taken this right away, because this trade has not favored him. It's an easy defense for white, and there's sufficient time to develop the pieces to safe enough squares and form a robust setup. Well, this is a blunder from me. I shouldn't have allowed him to come here. But I can also threaten to trap him. Yeah. And then defend these pawns. Defend these pawns and then cut off the rook. Oh shit. Game on. Game on, and it's going to be a tough one. Phew. Really messed that one up, didn't I? Okay. So, how do we handle a situation like this? You just got to hang in there. All right. Knights are tricky pieces. Let that tricky butterfly fly. All right. That's the only way you can handle such a position. Give him opportunities. Let him pretend he's like your goal scoring middle fielder. And you just want to keep him around, keep him for a good position to snap in there. It's a blitz game after all. People get tired, people make mistakes, and that's when the magic happens. Hey, what if I try this? Try putting pressure on these pawns here at the far end somehow. Can I try that approach? What's my response to this one? Not sure I have a good one. Maybe I shouldn't be giving my knight duties on too far the side of the board. Maybe that was a strategically bad idea. I think it was a bad idea, so I'm going to play a bit more humble with my approach. I'm not going to keep the knight stretching out too far. I think it's a poisoned gamble. The rook, if the rook is allowed to come in, the game's just going to slip away. Um, he's playing it very comfortably, isn't he? Okay, maybe we can coax a blunder here. What? That is blunder. I mean, he loses a pawn. So his king can't go anywhere here. And I'm going to win this pawn. It's the Intermezzo check. The power of the Intermezzo check. Title of this video. And now that knight is going to be a nasty little bugger, isn't he? All sorts of possibilities starting to pile up here. I'm going to already go ahead and toss him in there. It's a bit of a fire grenade move, but I feel like it's worth it now. It's worth it to go for it a little bit. Start advancing some pawns. Hmm. Yeah, that's a tricky pawn. This knight and pawn shepherd each other relatively well, you see, because he can't go here because of the knight, and if he goes all the way here, then the pawn comes in, and it's still the same thing. So very tricky, very tricky. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that game. Let's have a quick review. You should always take the isolated queen's pawn. I mean, here he should have just captured in the center and either forced this or queen takes, and then does whichever. Um, but instead, he lost himself a pawn, and the game simplified relatively quickly, and then he even got into this trouble here. So it was an easy peasy game, but I erred with this whole move. I mean, it wasn't a huge error. The position is still stable. It's just that, it would have been some simple moves like this, but I got a bit cutesy pootsy and paid the price. Yeah, that was a good tactical spot though. But it's not easy to convert, and knights are tricky pieces. So here I was wondering if this pawn move was totally bad. It's okay, I guess. White definitely on the defense here, but then we get the intermezzo check spot, and this is the spot which gets white back in the game, and it's an even position from there on. The power of the intermezzo check, and then of course some really. Uh, of course, I had to move the king up first because otherwise he would have had rook check and winning the knight, and he'd have enough time. So you have to not get too excited either. And here he needed to do something more immediate. He couldn't. I knew he wanted to go for this, so I had to think: do I get my king here and be all defensive, or do I just try to make this magic work? And more often than not, you'll find that you should just go for it. Just go for it. Don't try to hold on to what you got. It ain't gonna make a difference whether you like it or not.